Hey guys, this is Tiffany again, back with Stranger Things 2, and this is Chapter 8, The Mind Flayer. And finally, this thing has a freaking name. This shadow monster, that's what we've been calling this whole time, is actually being called the Mind Flayer, which, as we know in Dungeons and Dragons, looks very Lovecraftian, very Cthulhu-like, has the Lovecraftian mythology almost behind it, so it's very cool to see that, because that's really one of those characters that we don't really get a lot of love from whenever it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. So anyways, that's awesome. So it picks up right where it left off. Mind Flayer does. It picks up where the Demogorgons arrive, and of course, one of them is like trying to break through the glass. It can't, so the rest of them arrive, and this polycarbonate glass, is obviously cracking, and they're like, okay, it's time to leave. So Mike realizes that they know where they're at because of Will, so he says to put Will to sleep, because if they run and Will's awake, they'll know where to follow them, and if he's asleep, obviously they won't. So they put Will to sleep, since they realize that he's a spy basically now, for the Mind Flayer. So all the lab lights go out. When they arrive, the security, they get into a room with the security feed, and so it's Hopper and Joyce and Mike, Will and his passed out body, and the head Dr. Owens, I believe. Yeah, Dr. Owens. And so they're looking at this security display, these TVs that are lined up, and they see these demodogs roaming the hallways and killing people, and obviously looking for more people to kill. So yeah, kind of obviously very scary now that they're in this realm and able to get to people and possibly even the entire city of Hawkins. So yeah. But yeah, it goes back to Billy and Max. We finally meet their mom and dad or stepdad or whomever this is, or stepmom, maybe dad and stepmom, I don't know. Anyway, whoever they are, they could get home, and it's kind of a weird scenario, because obviously they're looking for both of them, Billy and Max, and they find Billy, but Max is nowhere to be seen. And Neil confronts Neil confronts Billy rather about where Max is, and of course he's like, I don't know, I'm not my sister's keeper, probably at the arcade or something. And Neil does not accept that. Like, he pushes, you get the definite sense of abuse, and maybe this is why Billy is the way he is, because a lot of people that go through abuse like that, especially, seem to sometimes develop almost like that subconscious reaction to do it themselves to other people. So, he pushes them against the closet and is like, you're her brother, and he's like, I'm not her brother, and of course that aggravates him quite a lot, and he's like, yes, you are your family now, and it doesn't matter, you're still blood. And he basically gets him to apologize to Susan, who I guess is stepmom or mom or whomever, and basically tells Billy either find her or else. So he has to go look for Max very begrudgingly. So it goes back to Dustin talking about Dart molting yet again, and they, are trying to find him. Obviously, we get back to the lab, and Bob is with them as well, and he's like, I'm Bob Newby, superhero. Obviously he's that kind of comic nerd geek that we love, especially in a series like this. And he, is talking about that, they're all kind of discussing what to do. And they're like, okay, we need to reset the breakers to turn on the power. and someone is going to have to program the system to open up the gates and open up the front door that's locked so they can escape. So someone's going to have to go and do this for them to even get out of here. So, which means that someone who's able to, get down, reset the breakers, and who knows how to program BASIC is going to have to do this. And who else can do it except for Bob? So, I feel a little bit scared, because I feel like, this is Sean Astin, but I feel like he's going to turn into Sean Bean and possibly get hurt. So I'm really kind of worried about him. But anyways, Jonathan and Nancy, they are at this lab facility. They meet up with Steve and Dustin and Max and Lukas. So they're all now together at this gate trying to get into the lab facility. So finally, we've got the gang all back together trying to take out this thing together. And so it goes back to Bob. Bob gets the power back on. Yay, Bob. Good for you. He also is able to program the code in. And it, for me, being a Fallout 4 nerd, I'm having, oh, you got to do this and this, because I love doing that on Fallout 4, where you have to figure out the code and all that. And obviously, it's pretty epic to see that here, because the terminal that he's typing in looks identical to the Fallout 4 one, so of course. But anyway, so Bob, though, whenever he finishes that, he conveniently forgets his gun. So yet again, some trepidation here. So Hopper and Mike and Joyce escape with Will as soon as the doors open, like he told them to do. He told Hopper, he's like, don't wait for me, get out immediately when I do this. The doctor stays behind, and just because, it's like the captain goes down with the ship, he wants to stay with the lab. So I'm not really sure what will become of that, but we'll see. So basically, the Demogorgons unfortunately see Bob. He's the doctor is helping route him through the facility, through the lab, and he gets him to this broom closet. He goes in, and as this Demodog rounds the corner and sniffs, he pauses, sniffs, doesn't really pick up anything, so he continues on, luckily. So big sigh of relief. Bob goes to walk out, and it's got that slow-mo where the mop, pole falls, hits the ground, bounces, and of course the Demodog stops and turns, and here's Bob. So of course he takes off running, and it chases after him, and of course all these other Demogorgons or Demodogs, go at Bob, and he gets to the front. Joyce is still inside with Hopper. They see these Demodogs and they see Bob, and Hopper's opening fire. He's shooting all the Demodogs, and unfortunately, as I saw coming, they all do get Bob. They mass just go at him, and he's on the ground. And Hopper and Joyce, they can shoot the Demodogs, but there's so many of them, and obviously they're more resilient than your standard dog or monster, for that matter, and they unfortunately do kill Bob. And he's kind of like that hero that went down in down with it was difficult, and Joyce, of course, is trying to go after him, and Hopper's pulling her back, no, we gotta go. And sorry, I'm a little, anyway, they leave, and Hopper talks to Joyce, trying to make sense of everything that's happened, and show her, hey, he didn't die for nothing. This is, he saved us. He saved, all of them, basically. And it's I have that moment of Samwise Gamgee in my head, of course. If you're a Lord of the Rings nerd at all, that's what's going through your mind right now. It's Samwise Gamgee just died. And so it's really hard to deal with, for me, because like him as a character, I've really gotten to love like his character in this like profound way. So I hate that happened, but I mean, we knew that someone was going to, but I honestly didn't see it being him. But at the same time, it's like, okay, yes, I didn't see it being him at first, but now of course it just seems like it was foreshadowed, and it's just one of those things. But anyway, of course, where was I? Oh yeah, so he talks to Joyce, and Mike actually reveals that Bob was the original founder of Hawkins AV. So all this, like, it's even more like nerd cred, and like kind of, you know, again, that hero that they look up to, because yet again, he's done something that's so iconic to them, especially being part of Hawkins AV Club. So definite, you know, more of a heart-wrenching thing there. But so they, of course, now we know for a fact that the Demodogs, the Mind Flayer, they are a hive mind, and so they're discussing this, and they're like, okay, with this hive mind, what is their purpose? What is their goal? And so they look at like the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Handbook, of course, and they determine, of course, so they think they're the master race. Again, it's that Lovecraftian Cthulhu kind of like mindset. You know, they are the master race. Anyone inferior needs to be destroyed. So, and they determine that the Mind Flayer itself is the brain. It's like the central nervous system that is communicating across all these waves to the Demodogs, through obviously to Will, and has all these like it's an intelligent mind. Like, it has its own thoughts and ideas and just way of thinking and goals, as opposed to the Demogorgon in season 1 was very, you know, just kill. The Mind Flayer is very intelligent. It, you know, it has strategies, that type of thing, or different things it wants to accomplish here. So I mean, the good thing is, though, in this scene, Steve and Nancy, they make amends. You know, they agree to, like, kind of put the past in the past. Dustin makes amends with Lukas. He apologizes about Dart and, like, keeping that from him. So now's the problem of what to do with Will, because he's still passed out, and they come up with an idea that they can use him yet again as like that spy. They have to also come up with a way to try to figure out how to get this thing out of him. So they decide to use the shed behind Joyce's house to like put him in, but it's obvious that it's easy to identify, so they put up blackout curtains along the interior to try to like make it where he can't realize where he's at, because as long as he doesn't know where he's at, neither does the Mind Flayer or the Demodogs. So but yeah, it's, sorry, I've got my drink here. So Will finally wakes up. He finds out where he's at, or well, not like where he's at yet, but just that he's in the shed, and like he's got these lights pointed at him, like a kind of like a interrogation type setting. And like Lukas, like he says, if they find out where they are, it'll be Judgment Day, and you know, it'll come raining on them like fire, and it's going to be bad. So again, it's like he's possessed. Like, go back to The Exorcist here. You know, Will, you know, is very upset, and like he's trying to get out of the restraints, and he's like screaming, "Let me go," repeatedly, and he gets like that disembodied voice again, like, "Let me go," you know, and he's like thrashing at his bonds, obviously trying to escape. Joyce they try to get through to Will. So like Joyce talks about, remember when you drew this like rainbow spaceship and how happy you were, and I showed it to everybody. And then it goes to Jonathan, and he talks about when their dad left, and the day that he left, they spent the whole day building castle byres, and like that brotherhood moment that they had, and just trying to make them remember that. Mike talks about kindergarten and the first day that they met, and how he was nervous and scared and didn't know anybody, didn't have any friends, but yet he saw Will on the swing set, and like from that day on they were so closely bonded as friends, and yet almost like brothers. And still, you know, Will on the outside is like not responding. He's still being like, let me go, release me, you know, I don't like this. But as Hopper sees, he's communicating on like the bottom of the chair in Morse code. So of course they quickly devise a way to have someone on the inside looking at the Morse code alphabet of sorts, while other people in there and like passing on the code. And it says basically he communicates close gate. He's like, his first thing he says is here, like just to let them know, look, it's me, Will, I'm here. I'm still in here. I'm not able to communicate like I want to, but I'm here. So definitely, at least we know that he's okay, and that it hasn't like fully taken him over yet. He's still somewhat in there, and he's communicating with them to close the gate. So while this is going on, it's really cool because like, should I stay or should I go is playing again like it was in the first episode. And unfortunately the phone rings, and it's very distinctive. It's obviously Joyce's phone, and Will immediately realizes where they are, and immediately like his eyes start moving. This, you know, with his, you know, kind of the spy network, is the hive mind is happening here, and so they realize that Will has communicated this, and they put him to sleep again. The Demogorgons surround the house, so of course here we go. Everybody's around, like in a circle, like we've seen before. Like they're all at the ready. They've got their bats, they've got their, you know, guns, and everything's ready, and they're ready to take down these things. And all of a sudden, this Demogorgon flies through the window. Like the snarling stops, like, and it goes deathly silent, and like his dead body flies through the window, and they kind of kick it. I almost expected it to, you know, do like the jump scare thing where it, like, you know, tries to bite back, but it doesn't. Like they nudge it and kick it, and it just lays there, and they're like, what in the world can make something like this happen? And the door like slowly opens. It's like that, you already know who it is, like, but your heart's like pounding out of your chest, and the door just slowly, like in those, of course, scary movies, just slowly opens, and there walks in 11, like that fierce face, you know, still got that makeup on, the whole, like, you know, punk look going on, and 11 is back. And it's like this moment of Hopper's like, oh, well, cat's out of the bag. And Mike, of course, is like emotional and like in shock, like, you know, almost like wants to pinch himself, like, is this real? Like, is she really here? And like, holy cow, like finally, like this whole freaking season, it takes chapter 8 for chapter 8. Of course you would do this to us, Duffer Brothers. You guys, I swear. Anyway, so 11's here, 11's back. She's finally shown up to everybody again. So excited to see what happens in the last episode. Oh my gosh. So that was the Mind Flayer, and really excited to see more and what happens now that 11's back, and what they're going to do to close the gate and defeat the Demodogs and just get this thing gone once and for all. So also want to see the repercussions of them sending out that cassette tape last episode. So don't know what happened with that yet. Just a lot of loose ends to tie up, so I'm hoping they tied this up with this last episode. I feel like obviously Mike and, you know, 11 need to have their moment, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, that was the Mind Flayer. Obviously we have one more episode. I'm really excited. It's, you know, too soon, almost like too soon, the feels, I can't take it, but I'm really excited though, and I am definitely going to review that and want to know your thoughts on it. So far, this episode, by far, this entire time, is definitely in my top 3. Heck, my top 2. episodes, and I'm sure the last episode will probably be my favorite. I can almost guarantee it. But anyway, that is all for the Mind Flayer. I will continue to do these reviews. I've got Star Trek Discovery and Ruby and Walking Dead reviews coming, as well as, of course, Game of Thrones and Doctor Who when it starts back. We've also got unboxings on this channel of Loot Crate, Loot Anime, Scotchbot's Japanese Snacks, which we try and talk about live on the air. We have Fandom of the Month coming. We have Owl Crate, as well as Anime Bentos coming. So really excited to show you all the nerdy yum goodies that are coming. We're giving away a copy of Destiny 2, so if you'd like to win it or have someone you want to give it to, definitely go ahead and subscribe and check out that video of how you can win your own copy of Destiny 2. And we're going to be having a lot more giveaways ramping up to Christmas. So more awesome nerd like games and cool stuff. I haven't even decided what I'm going to give away. I do know the next 2 at least, but those will be announced later. So if you want to win some cool stuff for Christmas for yourself or your family members or kids or whomever, go ahead and subscribe so you can keep up with that and get a head start on anyone else that might enter the drawing. And we hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you for watching, and bye.